Alright, what is up YouTube? So welcome to the second installment of Maintenance Mondays. Today I'm going to be doing an oil and filter change on my 2005 Yamaha R6. For some bikes it's obviously going to be different, but it'll get you the general idea of it. So yeah, let's come over here and get started. Oh wait, what is this? What is this? Oh, double T sticker. Oh my god. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, this is basically what you're gonna need for the oil change. Like I said, some bikes are gonna be different size, bolts, whatever. For mine, I have 4 quarts because the genius at the Yamaha dealership was like, yeah, it takes a little over 3.5 quarts to do it. Okay, and I'm pretty sure it's like 2 3/4, and I come home, double check before I start, and guess what? 2.75 quarts of 10W40 for an 05 R6. I don't know, maybe the new ones are more or not. But so anyways, let's get started. So 3 quarts is what you're gonna need. 1, 2, 3. This guy is for next time. Oil filter, Yamaha oil filter is what I got. The drain plug is a 17 millimeter. If you don't, I just grabbed that because that's what I had sitting here. You use a ratchet, whatever. I also use the ratchet for, you have to take off this bottom fairing right here. I just kind of did that before I got started because it's kind of a pain in the ass. I'll show you how to do it, but a lot of bikes are different. The only one that's going to be exactly like that is obviously a 2005 R6. But I did that with, what I have is a 7/64 Allen. It's actually metric bolts, but I couldn't find a metric one at the time. That one works also. And there's 2 that are 5 millimeter Allens. So anyways, but yeah, that basically goes on under here, along here, over the crankcase, and back up here, whatever. There's like 6 or 7 bolts that hold it on. 2 here, 2 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And then there's also one underneath right here, which is, this is gonna be all messed up, but basically like right here, this is the front, and it goes right here and bolts into the other side. And then it just slides out right here. It just kind of slides in these little grooves and clips in. So yeah, anyways, we'll go ahead and get started with the oil change. I also have a rag, old shirt, whatever. If you want to wear gloves, I would suggest wearing like rubber or latex gloves or whatnot. Just keep your hands from getting so dirty and oil all over them. I'm pretty used to it because that's what I do for a living, so I really don't care. But also keep you from getting burnt, because you kind of want to warm the bike up before you change the oil, so the oil is more, it flows easier and gets it out faster, whatever. So yeah, just set that on there. Go ahead and let that all drain out. Another thing I forgot to mention you're going to want is a crush ring for your drain plug. You pick that up at AutoZone, whatever, probably the motorcycle dealership too. I just got mine at AutoZone. They usually, you can get them in like sets, you know, get like 3 or 4 of them at a time, so we don't have to buy them every time. And this, what I'm taking off, is the old one. It's crushed, bent, because I already used it once. Throw it away. New one on there. It helps if you have a set of pliers to take the old one off. Just set of pliers in your 17 or whatever size your bolt is. If you're working on a metric bike, it's obviously going to be metric. I don't know about like Harleys, whatnot like that, but yeah, it helps if you have a pair of pliers. You grab it, just kind of grab the crush washer with the pliers, pinch it down, and then use your wrench or whatever to loosen that up. Or like I did, like I know I only used it, if you've used it, it's been used more than once and it's really crushed on there, you're gonna probably have to do that. I knew mine had only been on there one time, so if you just take it, kind of hit the crush washer on the ground like that, it usually breaks the seal on the threads and whatnot and on the bolt head, and just breaks it loose, so you can either just twist it off with your fingers or it'll fall off after that. Alright. And the oil is just dripping now. You want to obviously drain it out until it is mostly all out. See how it's just dripping now? It's not still flowing, so go ahead and put the plug back in. And that's kind of why you want an actual pair of gloves. If you are afraid of getting burnt on your header, then use an actual pair of gloves. You don't burn yourself, because that plug is a lot of time right next to the header. Wipe that down with a rag so you don't have oil dripping off while you're riding. Alright, next thing is your oil filter on a 2005 R6. It's basically foot peg right here and kickstand right here, and it's right here behind the coolant reservoir. I don't have oil filter pliers, but before I did this I just kind of grabbed it with my hands and was able to get it twisted off or started, so I knew I could do it. But yeah, so it's down here. Take your drain, move it under the oil filter, or don't if you feel like making a mess, and just go ahead and take the old one off. It's gonna kind of leak down on your engine a little bit, so try and get that all cleaned up when you go to put everything back together, so you don't have obviously oil leaking all over everything. Make sure where the oil filter seats is cleaned off a little bit. Make sure there's no gunk on there that's gonna keep it from sealing right. Open up your new oil filter. Take some of the new oil on your finger and just kind of coat the rubber gasket on your oil filter with it. Not a whole lot, just enough to get it moist, and put it back on. Make sure you get the oil filter tight. Don't take pliers to it unless you really just absolutely can't get to it with your fingers. But make sure it's tight so you're not going to be spraying any oil anywhere. There you go. And wipe everything off. There we go. So that is that part of the oil change. And move around to the other side of the bike with your oil. Alright. Now then, I also don't have a funnel here, but 05 R6, other side of the bike is your hole to fill at, right here. And also, these don't have like a sight glass to see how full it is. It actually has a dipstick, which I prefer. Right there. So yeah, let's see how much oil I try not to spill doing this with one hand and not a funnel. But yeah, lots of fun. You don't have a funnel, these are pretty easy to get to without it. Just go slow and try not to make a mess. I don't like these stupid, the Yamaha lube comes with this like seal on them. I hate that crap because you definitely don't want that getting in your engine, clog stuff up and whatnot. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys down so I can kind of concentrate on this so I don't overfill it. Don't want to overfill it. And I don't remember, this actually might, there we go, 3/4. This actually might take all three. I don't remember if that's with a filter change or not, but go ahead and put your cap back on. I leaked a little bit out, didn't do too bad though. Go ahead and wipe that off. While we're over here, I can kind of show you all the fairing bolts that I got to take off on the other side. I took these off too because I wasn't sure if I would. My last fairings, last time I did this, I took both sides off, and this time I just tried to do it with one side. And you can do one side. You just gotta make sure and slide those little pieces down there off. But so there's two right here. Two right here. The one up, you can't really see it, but it's up under here in the middle. There's one there, one right here, and one right here. And that's basically all your bolts to take off the fairing to do that. Changed, filter on, make sure everything's tight. Good practice to do whenever you do oil change on anything is to start check it. So you're obviously gonna, my dang key's been messing up on me lately. There we go. It's not been turning very easily, But yeah, start check it. That way it fills up your oil filter, so you actually know how much oil is in the motor. And that also ensures that your oil filter isn't loose or leaking. Go down here and check that out. And it's good. No leaks, no loose anything. But yeah, that makes sure that the oil filter's sealed. You want to make sure also that rubber gasket that's on the oil filters, sometimes those will stick to the oil filter housing on the bike or car or whatever. And if you put the new oil filter on with that old gasket on there, the oil when you start the bike up, when it gets pressure, is just going to spray all over the place. It's going to be a mess. You're going to get oil all over everything, which on a bike, everybody knows that's a bad idea to get oil all over your tires and whatnot. So, but yeah, so make sure that gasket's gone, not left on the motor. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have a sight glass for it, then you want to check that to make sure it's at the right level. If you have a dipstick, you want to check that. It's just pull it out, wipe it off, just like a car or whatever. Pull it out, wipe it off, put it back in. These are annoying because they don't just pull out, obviously. You have to unscrew them and unscrew them. Make sure it's all the way in there. And take it back out. That's right up there, just under the full line, not a whole lot. I'm gonna call that good for now. Probably check it again when I get home from a little ride I'm going on here in a little bit. But yeah, so that's basically how to do a oil and filter change on your motorcycle. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, critiques, whatever, leave a comment down there, somewhere down there. And if you like it, subscribe, comment, and hit the like button. Yeah, so anyways, next time I'll be doing the chain, oil, cleaning, oiling, and tightening it. So, deuces. Alright, sorry, another thing I forgot to mention, when you're checking the oil, if, like, either have a buddy do it, or if you can do it yourself, like I just did, you want to have the bike level when you're checking it. And if you have a stand, it's going to tilt it up so that it's not going to be real accurate. So it's better if you have it like on both wheels and just tilt it up like you're riding it. So either have a buddy sitting on it or whatever, or tilt it up so it's straight up and down like you were riding it, and check it that way. Because if you don't, it's going to be leaning to one side away from where the dipstick is, so it's going to say there's less oil in there. Then when you tilt it back up, it's going to be overfilled or more oil than you think is in there. And same thing, if it's on the stand, it's going to be tilting forward, so it's going to say you have less oil in there than you actually have. So that way when you put it back down on the wheel, when you put it back down on the wheel, it's going to have more in there than you thought you had. So I would recommend having someone or holding it up yourself, which, and checking it that way. And just make sure it's like level front to back and up and down pretty much to get the most accurate reading of it. But yeah, that's all.